Your next iPhone might finally be worth upgrading to. Samsung is redesigning its foldables. Apple just made another service more expensive. And Sony is reminding everyone that buying digital does not mean actually owning it. Welcome back to Glitchy Spark. This is going to be episode number 2. And if you care about smartphones, AI, anything consumer tech, this week is packed. And I'm so excited to get into it because there's some pretty hot stuff in here. We have a slightly different angle today, but don't you worry, most of this is going to be temporary. You'll find out eventually soon that there's a whole lot planned out. Just be patient, we'll get to it. Pixel 11a might finally be worth buying. If you don't know, the A models are generally the more budget-friendly type of a Google Pixel model. So if you can't afford the big one, that's what you would go for. According to a new leak, the Pixel 11a might be shipping with the flagship Tensor G6 processor instead of an older chip. That would actually reduce the difference between the budget phone as compared to the Pixel phones. Other than that, there are some rumors that state it's gonna have a brighter display, 120Hz, refresh rate, better efficiency, even though it's gonna have a slightly smaller battery. One thing I'll never understand is when companies reduce battery sizes on new releases. That will never ever get into my head. A lot of Pixel users actually complain about the battery being drained super quickly, so hopefully that new battery efficiency situation is going to resolve that. And if this leak is accurate, as in the Pixel 11a budget phone is going to have a much better processor, then there just might be a lot of people converting to Google this time around. Samsung finally makes its foldable wider. If you recall, not so long ago, we've heard about the release of the Huawei Pura X Max. That is one of the most beautiful phones I have ever seen. And that one's actually a successor to the last year's Pura X. Whenever I saw this phone for the first time, I was so in love. I would love to have one. I just am loving this wide situation. I don't know. It's like when you use it as a regular phone, you have more space. When you open it up, you have a decent amount of space between the fold, between the flip. I love it. We've already heard rumors that Samsung is going to do something similar. They're not going to get rid of their fold phone necessarily. They're just going to make a separate one, and they're going to call it the Z Fold. And then the regular fold is going to be called something else. It's very confusing, but ultimately it's gonna make more sense. One of the things that I actually thought about, and a lot of people I guess are thinking about, is the fact that Samsung foldables are just so narrow when you fold them. You can kind of get the idea. Normal phones are a little bit wider than that. Whatever, it might be an issue for some people, maybe not, but I think it's a very common issue that Samsung decided to come up with a noticeably wider design that feels more like a regular phone when you close it. Might not sound like a big deal to you, but that does change the whole experience. I guess instead of always needing to unfold your phone whenever you use it, you can just use it without unfolding it. If you ask me, it's just more about the aesthetics. I am all for it because the aesthetics on the Pura X are gorgeous. It just is nicer to look at. That's pretty much it, at least I'm honest. Also, it's not like they didn't make the flip a little wider on the 7, so they kind of understood that was an issue. Good on Samsung. Apple Music gets more expensive. Apple has increased Apple Music pricing yet again. So if you are an individual, it went from $10.99 to $11.99, which is in the US. I'm in Canada, so you're just gonna have to do the conversion here. Students are gonna be paying $6.99 rather than $5.99, and family will pay a whopping $19.99 instead of a $16.99. Why is everybody going up $1 except for the family? I feel like a lot of families are gonna be canceling their membership here. I don't know about you, but I started off as a Spotify girly, used Spotify for a little while, noticed Spotify keeps jacking up their prices, did not go to Apple Music. I actually went to YouTube. I know, it's crazy, but I am paying for YouTube Music and Premium together, and it just kind of makes sense for me right now. Obviously, I'm not promoting YouTube. I'm just saying, why are we increasing the prices? What is going on? We're talking about Apple here. I'm sure they're not running low on funds. If they are, they've already increased some of their devices prices on their website. So what is going on here? Companies know that most people won't cancel over $1, but when every service raises prices, consumers will definitely notice. That's right. We all have multiple subscriptions and we are gonna feel this. And a part of me is sensing that piracy is coming back with a bang. Do you actually own your game? Not anymore, at least not in the future. One of the most controversial events had occurred in the past few months, and it's the fact that Sony PlayStation has decided it will stop producing physical discs for their games. starting, I believe, in 2028. That sparked a lot of controversy. Everyone is upset, and I feel like you're gonna be more upset now. They're really not helping their situation. Apparently, if you go deep in the depths of the terms and conditions whenever you purchase a game from the Sony store, or what is it called? The PlayStation store, you are actually borrowing a license, you're not actually owning it. There was a situation back in March 2024 when the Stellar Blade demo leaked early and a lot of people downloaded to their console. Not the most favorable thing you want to do, obviously, especially from a company's perspective. Like, you weren't happy about that, of course. People did it nonetheless, and the way they kind of licensed to that demo. Sony, however, was able to pull back that license and remove the game from the console, the physical hardware console. Like, insane, you know, the whole situation being kind of pudding and not right. It's just kind of like insane that Sony has the ability. So now that we're going fully digital, who's going to stop them from fully on controlling, taking off any games, your library? And you're probably thinking like, this is so long from now, but this is our reality today. I'm gonna start in the next few years. We won't see any more CDs. We're not gonna be able to buy any more new titles. You're either gonna have to just face reality, or I guess just stick to the classics. What if we don't have internet anymore? Mind you, the whole world will go insane and, you know, hell will break loose. But I've always thought, like, as a backup, having an offline library of games would be awesome. But I just feel like that will not be possible anymore with this new policy. Sony's PlayStation is starting, but then who knows who's gonna stick to it too. That's all I'm gonna say. Mind you, I don't even own a console. iPhone 18 Pro leaks, reveals 12 rumored features. Let's talk about them. As we know, the iPhone release date is coming close. I believe we have less than 2 months, around like a month and 3 weeks approximately, depending when you're seeing this video. And we are finally going to see the new iPhone. I am curious if they're gonna actually stick to those rumored colors that we see online. I also wanna know, are you gonna be standing in line? These are the 12 rumored upgrades on the iPhone 18 Pro. Smaller dynamic island, LTPO plus display technology. And this is my first time ever hearing about this display. It's called the low temperature polycrystalline oxidol. What's up with this new term? So it's an alternative to OLED, but it's like more advanced, I suppose. So one of the differences is that the refresh rate can be between 1 Hz to 120. It doesn't have to stick to specifically 60 and 120, which with OLEDs it has to. Better battery efficiency by 5 to 15%. Is more expensive, however, so we are not going to be saving any money from that. These are kind of like the top differences between the two. Next feature we may potentially be getting is a variable aperture. I'm not sure how much difference that's gonna make into the cameras. I guess we'll find out. A20 Pro chip. I feel like that's kind of a given. We already know we're gonna get the next generation. C2 modem. So this more has to do with the 5G and LTE. It's going to be more power efficient. 5G via satellites. We are going to get some improvements onto the satellite performances. And one chip. This has to do with the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth improvement. Honestly, it's not much of a difference that we're going to sense. Next rumor is a dark cherry color. Fingers crossed that's a reality, because I think that color would be so beautiful. Very fall vibes, which is when the iPhone's getting released. So excited about that. Simplified camera control. Redesigned rare ceramic shield. So it's going to be like more frosted, seamless appearance. I'm very much curious. Larger battery. I hope so. And finally, a thicker design. I don't know why that would be an upgrade. I don't want my phone to be thicker. I actually want it to be thinner. So you lost me there. Samsung gets another pre-installed app, and you guys are gonna get so mad right now. We all know that Samsung got rid of their own messaging app this July, and everybody now is forced to use Google's messaging app. Comment below how you feel about that, by the way. Which means you're not gonna get as much customization. You're not gonna get the same theme as your whatever theme you got going on your phone, like the built-in benefits you get. You're gonna be getting the Amazon Music app pre-installed, and you're gonna get a free 3 months trial. Now, you don't have to buy a new Samsung device to get that experience. You could actually just go install it now and probably get that free 3 months trial, which, I mean, that's all fun and games. You're getting 3 months of music for free, but we're talking about Amazon Music here. At least you can uninstall it, but I'm just curious as to why this decision was made. I mean, there was at some point a Samsung music player, I think. I just feel like pre-installing Spotify, which is probably something that a lot of Android devices do, makes more sense, because Amazon is just kind of third-party thing. Like, I don't know, it's not adding up to me. These are some of the exciting and not so exciting news that we've heard this week around. I'm very much curious curious. What do you guys think about all of this? Are we still gonna be in line for the iPhone 18? Are we going to be standing in line to get the new Samsung Fold devices, which are gonna be released very soon, end of July or early August? Fingers crossed. I will be watching those live events because it's just, I'm so curious. I've always been a Flip fan, so I'm curious what they come up with next. Make sure you guys give me a thumbs up, subscribe, comment your opinions, and I hope to see you next time on Glitchy Spark. Thanks for watching.